Welcome, my friend.
Finally made it. Jesus.
The legendary Dooley-O. It's good to talk to you, man. I was really looking forward to this. I'm excited about it. I was thinking a little bit about how to introduce you, right?
Okay.
And I went and looked up a bunch of stuff, of course, because I know your work, but also wanting to there's tons of stuff that I don't know and that I haven't heard, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so I started thinking to myself, I wonder how he introduces himself when he walks in, because I could say Dooley-O the visual artist, I could say Dooley-O the producer, I could say Dooley-O the DJ, I could say Dooley-O the MC, and probably about 15 other things that I don't even know about.
Yeah, like painting and home improvement, glass installation.
Right. All of it, right? So I decided to just kind of leave it by allowing you to introduce yourself. When you walk into a room and they don't know, wow, is that fire?
Yeah, no, that's Fountain and Whaley. That firehouse is active.
They're just active today, huh?
Yeah.
No worries. When you walk into a room and people don't necessarily know who Dooley-O is,
okay.
Where do you begin?
I would say first foremost, after all, people normally say, okay, it's the Renaissance man. I've heard another person tell me, you are the Loch Ness Monster of New Haven. Which was very interesting because I really like that.
Yeah.
So basically, a recording artist, DJ, a graffiti writer, a videographer, filmmaker. And just a humble person, a man who loves people and hope that people loves him back.
Word. I love that. It's hard to even know where to begin, and I don't want to sort of sound corny. I'm just saying to me there's this sort of embodiment of, and this almost seems a little too small, but I'll say this is you're hip hop personified.
Okay.
It's all of the elements to me combined in one human, which to me then transcends it. It's you're just this artist that just chose hip hop as a medium to be able to express all of these different aspects of yourself, because it's not easy to be good at all the things you're really, really good at.
Right. But there's a downfall for knowing all of these things and doing every aspect of hip hop. I'm not the greatest beatboxer, if you want to add that into play, but I can do a little bit.
Fair enough.
I'll say that I can rap decently, just enough to get my point across,
Yeah.
But don't put me on the spot to do that.
No.
Graffiti is probably my strongest vessel out of all the hip hop bloodlines, the veins of hip hop. The graffiti part is probably my heaviest tool.
Nice.
I also, then it comes to music, and I believe that the music and art go hand in hand. So I combine them as one. So I can't just say, well, they say jack of all trades, master of none. I can't just say, well, I want to stop doing graffiti to master the music. It's just not going to work, because I go in phases, more or less. I would sit here and I'll do tons of music, and then all of a sudden I just drop and be burnt out, and then all of a sudden a wave of graffiti lifestyle kicks in.
Yeah.
And now I'm a graffiti madness.
Right.
And then when that stops, it's back to music, but in a different form of DJ. So now, I got burnt out of DJ so much when the pandemic happened. I just, I was like, thank you. Now I can just sit down on a Saturday and a Friday night and don't have to DJ and relax and focus on something else. So then it was art for a hot second. And then it was just like, look, I'm sitting on all this music material. Why don't we put some records out? So within that time, between, I guess, February, April, whatever, so now I put out 2 albums. One is called The Mechanism. The second one I just released a couple of days called The EPS Files. The Mechanism was something that I did in 1994, right, with a group of guys. It's like a Wu-Tang type of thing, or Onyx, that whole combination together. So I look down the right of me and I see the reel-to-reels and the DAT tapes, and people know about tape. I had to get all this stuff. I said, well, what are you going to do with this? You know, you got options of doing it yourself. So I did it myself, and it does, and it's doing pretty good. And then I said, well, let's keep going. Then I recently released the EPS Files, which is now uploaded on Spotify. Which is, you know, first to get the Spotify situation, you know, with me, it was the first. So, and I got more to put on Spotify. And cause my friend said, you don't want to be underground. And it made sense. And I was like, no, I don't want to be underground. I want to be underground, but I want to be underground. But, with all that entails, and then doing a couple pieces of artwork at the same time, it's just like, you know, I'm utilizing this time to be very creative. And so when it breaks, people already know that it's already established. And today I just got in my original graffiti television GTV shirts. And for those that don't know, GTV stands for Graffiti TV. It was an access channel I did in '88 to like '94 on Citizen Television. And during like '93, '94, I decided to take that particular graffiti. It was like a hip hop show on the access channel, but it was more about graffiti and hip hop in the Elm City. And so what I did with that, I took it and made a 1-hour tape, and then start selling it to all these underground hip hop shops that was popping up. And I end up going up to the 9 tapes of VHS tapes, 9 VHS tapes, but selling them all over the world, right? At this one point, Tower Records, whatever you want to call it back then. But Tower was my biggest account. So with said, you know, to shorten it up, 20 years later, people are like, yo, I have the VHS tapes, but I ain't got a VCR. Are you gonna ever put these on DVD? I mean, people have been begging me for years, and I'm like, you know, because I was videotaping the graffiti world in the early '90s before YouTube, before the internet. So you could imagine the footage what I have. All of that graffiti is gone by, you know, renovations and rebuilding of the cities and stuff like that. All the graffiti stuff is gone, but I have all this like catalog of a library of tons of footage that I'm re-releasing on YouTube, and pretty soon doing the DVDs. But first we started off with the shirts, because people was like, oh, you got to get some product. We need it. They begging me. So today I got the shirts in, and I'll be promoting it later on today, getting some stuff together. But, you know, that's the graffiti side of me, you know. Part of it, and, you know, and I've been doing it since I was like 13 years old. I'm 51 now, so you guys do the math. I'm not going to try to do it. You know?
That's incredible, dude. Absolutely amazing. And these videotapes, I feel that, because, man, I haven't seen a VCR in who even knows when. And I would be heartbroken. There's some things, it's like, you know, it's hard to get updated.
Yeah, so, it's definitely hard to get up there. I mean, everything is streaming, but some people still want physical. Like, some people ask me, are you going to put them back on VHS? I was like, whoa, now you're pushing it. But if that's what you want, and then if I'm able to do it, I'll do it. But, you know, nowadays, you know, kids are walking around with cassettes, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing, because they're open, the door's open for everybody. Not, you know, if People Bryson wants to come back out with an album, he can, you know, or the Stones do it, you know, YouTube do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, certain artists can come back out, and, like, people will appreciate it, definitely.
I think so, man. I think you're right. And I think, you know, there is this way in which, with the world becoming a smaller place in terms of, you know, being able to be in touch with people from all over the world, I think opens up an entire new possibility for being able to reach, you know, like-minded folks who appreciate a kind of a sound and understanding, an approach to the work and to the music that's really authentic. So yeah, kudos, man. I'm looking forward to seeing the reissue. I missed it the first time around.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is too, like, you know, just say like now, real hip hop, boom bap hip hop, classic hip hop is now called, the new generation calls it lo-fi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you had a 2-track or a 4-track and you recorded some beats, you'll fit right in that category, no matter what the sound sounds like. If it sounds like crap, it's good, you know, for that particular audience. So now we have audiences on different waves, and everybody's flying on their own wave, or you could just jump from different waves. Well, I like trap, well, I like rap, but I don't like rap, but I like the instrumentals. I like da.
Yeah,
you can just keep going, you know. Everybody can do their own thing right now, and it's pretty amazing. And hopefully, when everything is cured and we got this pandemic out the way, people are going to lose their mind. I mean, people, if the bars and the retails and the stores, if they get hold on and wait for it, ride this out, and when that door opens up again, people just going to jump out on their knees crying and I gotta buy something.
yeah. I need this. Yeah, this need to consume, man. It is dangerous, to say the least, at the root of a lot of challenges. But look, man, I want to share like a little piece of your work here.
Sure.
If I could, let's see if there you go.
Do we have an audience in the building?
Yeah. There's let's see, 1, 2, 3.
Can I see them or
4? So everyone's got their screens off.
Okay, cool. That's all right.
But
hi everybody. I just want to say hi to everybody that got their screens on. How you doing, people? Thanks for tuning in.
Hey. Here's Mike. Mike Z put his screen on. There he is. I don't know if you can see him there.
Hello.
Not yet. Hey, Mike Z, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm good. You feeling good today?
Always feel good.
That's what's up. That's a good answer. I like that.
Yeah, that is a good answer.
Yes.
All right. Hey, Mike, can you see the screen? Can you see it? Okay, great. All right, so I'll assume everyone else can see it, and we'll go ahead and play this. In the meantime, Dooley-O, I'm gonna mute where you are.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Wow, dude. That was amazing. Let's see. So you have to unmute.
Got it.
There you go. Got it. Incredible. So
that was
tell me, so that's you on the production, yeah?
That's me on the production. Me on the editing. Lucky I have my friend Birdie do the camera work, you know, with my phone. So
yeah,
and you know that's
a piece of art. So do you have like designated places where you go, where you work, I know you've got a studio. You still have that studio?
Yes, it's at 909 Welly Avenue.
Yeah.
Right on top of the coffee shop that's on the corner there. It's called The Range. They're still calling it The Range. I know somebody else has a coffee shop going on now, but right on the corner of Blake and Whaley. Right on the corner there, upstairs. I'm my partner and I, JC. We pretty much run the studio. Been doing some work in there, but not that much lately because it's just been everything's kind of slow and you know, production costs, is kind of minimum right now. So
sure.
But there is but there is artwork that's available if you go to art by Dooley-O on Instagram. You will see a lot of art there. Yeah.
So Dooley-O, so tell me. So where does hip hop begin to you? You mentioned a moment ago that you started when you were 13.
I started. I basically started graffiti when I was 13.
Okay.
Hip hop started for me when I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. I had family in New York at 104th I'm sorry, where am I at? No, okay, I'm too far up. 113th and 5th Avenue, in that general area, not too far from, like 2 blocks from Central Park. So in the projects over there, my aunts and my cousins and my mother, we used to go to New York all the time to go visit them because my mother liked to be in New York. And one day I was coming out of the projects, it was just like I saw this guy rapping in the park. I didn't know what he was doing, but I just heard him rapping. So when I came back to Connecticut, I was like, oh, I just kept saying, 1, 2, yo, you don't stop, check it out, 1, 2. I didn't know what I was doing, but and the crazy part, my cousins and them, they used to live next door to this dude named Jazzy, who I lived down the street from my cousin, but they lived next door to him.
Yeah. And
somehow they got his equipment and started somehow they right next door. They got this guy's equipment and they're rapping and everything, and he gave me the microphone and I started rapping, and ever since then, like my thirst for the hip hop, because now I bring it back to New Haven inside me. I see the birth of it, and this is before records. So now my older brother, they're really kind of more hip to it. So they have cassettes and stuff like that, and they got the boom boxes. So then now the breakdancer gets shown on TV. I used to watch this show called Night Flight on Friday and Saturday night. Night Flight and like PBS. It was one of the biggest contributors of hip hop. A lot of people don't really know that PBS used to show all the underground hip hop shows from New York and stuff like that. So hats off to PBS and Night Flights and Hot Tracks. All these shows that, when you little, you got cable, you somewhat got some sort of cable, 4 channels or whatever. Yeah. It's like you catch these shows once in a while and it just be a big impact. Like the first real hip hop feeling I got is when I saw the movie Wild Style. Now Wild Style, classic, the true essence of hip hop. You had after that like Beat Street, which was good, but if you go into like Breaking 1 and Breaking 2, I really don't consider those as hip hop movies. I consider those being some Hollywood wanted to be version of what Wild Style was. Wild Style was a pure energy, and then so by me watching Rocksteady Crew and studying the Rocksteady Crew, breakdancers and seeing graffiti on the subways, going to New York, seeing the graffiti on the subways and seeing all of this, it was like a major impact. This is all I ever wanted to do, was to be involved with hip hop some sort of way. When I got good in breakdancing went out. So I took it over with graffiti. Graffiti just never died. It might have died amongst the youth as a trend, but to others, it's just like kept going on for generations and generations of graffiti. Like my old friends I've been doing graffiti with, like 40, I've known guys for 41 years of my life, you know what I mean? That been doing, like, man, I told him from the other day, I was doing graffiti with you for 41 years. And then also with graffiti also took me to like the next level of different people. Like more or less like, you know, I lived on top of the by the train station on Liberty Street in New Haven. And so, you know, I never really ventured out into Hamden. I had a cousin lived out there, hung out with him here and there, but never really ventured out into other spots at Hamden. I mean, at this time, you really couldn't go around because everybody had a neighborhood church. You know, you had the Italians had their church, you had the Irish had their church. Everybody had their little sections in Hamden that you just, you know, as a black person, you ain't going to Hamden to just be playing around. You know what I'm saying? But when I hooked up with a friend of mine who was Irish, I hooked up with him. Somehow I knew he was a graffiti writer. I met him at Macy's, and then he introduced me to his friends. And said, now we are all friends. And I'm like, okay, my horizons get opened up, the doors open. They tell me about different things. I'm going to hang out with them. And I'm seeing different things I've never seen because I was living, you know, in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I see what the hood sees. So with said, by having this connection through art and graffiti, it was just amazing. Yeah, it was just amazing.
So tell me about like your in terms of graffiti, the evolution of your style. Like, you know, how are things the same? How have things changed in what you do, what you think about, what you write, in terms of graffiti?
More or less, things are more advanced as far as graffiti back in the day. It's like more back in the day, you only had like a minimum amount of colors. You couldn't get a bright green or a hot pink or a real good quality yellow or orange. You had to deal with what you had to deal with, which was Rust-Oleum and Krylon. Now you got 500 different brands of paint made by graffiti artists. So now graffiti artists got hip and said, you know, we're tired of this, you know, telling the Krylon and the Rust-Oleum company, look, this is what we do. We buy your paint to do this, even though some of us do it in a negative way, but it's still a purchase. Make us happy by giving us different colors. They didn't listen. Right. So that's how they lost out. And now you got different companies, you know, who are doing making their own paint. So now you got different paints, quality paints. You got different tips for the paint. So when you're out, you know, spray painting, like you want a whiter spray, you change the caps. Normally back then you had to deal with the cap that came with it, or take a glass cleaner cap off your mother's glass cleaner and put it on it, and then when it's time for her to wash the windows or clean the windows, the cap's not there.
There's a problem.
So you know what I'm saying? There's some problems going on. You got to put the cap back.
You got to put the cap back. You know what? But you know what's so powerful about that, Dooley, when I hear you say that, is it really puts into perspective the scale of the impact of this culture. You know, hip hop culture generally, but graffiti and all that, like showing up in those spaces where if the thing that we don't want, if the thing that we want doesn't exist in the world, it's up to us to go make it.
Right.
And that for me really typifies like to me, that's like the spirit of hip hop.
And yeah, I mean, you make something out of nothing. That's the whole thing. Now everything's given to you. Like just say, I'm just going to use graffiti again. Just say like when you would know if a guy, if a graffiti writer lived in Chicago, you would know it because of his style, because they had their own certain style. Yeah. So if you go to New York, you would know the New York style. If you go to LA, you would know the LA style. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So with said, now with the internet and everything, and over the past decades, now you have everybody mimicking each other's style. So no one now has an original style. It's a combination of all styles, which is incredible as well. Yeah. But you know, before you can't really like take just say but it's now you don't have to be like, I'm gonna hand you down a style. That's how it was brought to me. A friend of mine named Slim, he handed me down his style. I took his style and developed my own style. Right. Just as I would hand down like an alphabet that I drew, a graffiti alphabet, say, yo, take this style, practice this. Once you get this, then develop your own style off of this.
Off of this. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of a lineage. You want to know what's beautiful of that is it really fits itself well into the kind of oral tradition that many of us have had to use. Right. In other words, our sort of like wisdom and knowledge in these various areas was not something that was valued in that kind of way.
Right.
And as we continue to develop culture, you know, it's like we have these oral traditions where we pass it down one to the next. So it's the same, like, I think about, like, for me personally, like, I'm a drummer, I'm a hand percussionist. And so I was taught by somebody, and so I sound a lot like that person. But I developed my own thing.
Yes. Right. And that's yeah. And that's what's kind of missing with the traditional sounds, or like even with the guys, even with the people out now that are doing things. Like you can tell who was taught, or who got the soul or the backbone of the core of what they're doing. You could tell by the sound. Yeah. And then you could tell by the guys that just, you know, they'll get on the computer and make music, and you could tell, it's all right. You know?
Yeah. The people who have, I mean, it's the people who have really taken the time to develop their craft and work. I mean, look, there's also nothing wrong with experimenting, of course, because like that's how you move from good or from not so good to good, right? But like also, it's evident when you hear somebody who's really worked at what they've been doing.
Oh yeah. And so like just for example, I still use the same type of sampler I've been using since '94. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I'm embedded into that sound. I love the way it sounds. It sounds crunchy. It sounds raw. It sounds like you're actually in some sort of soul shack in the corner of a bar, and there's a big cigarette machine, and the drummer and the bass and all that is just hitting you. It's like you walk into the best concert of your life that you paid for nothing to walk in. Like you walk in there and be like, I'm just here to have a drink, and next thing you know, you got a show, and it's the best show in the world. You know what I mean? That's the feeling that I want to capture, and I want to give out to the people, no matter if I do art, if I do music, or anything else. It's just like, look, I want to give you the raw stuff, because you got the commercial stuff every day, 7 days a week, 24 hours, 9, 10 times a day. You have that, but let me give you something else that you might want to feel. If you like it or not, I don't care. You just got to take this medicine. That's it.
Yeah. I love that. You just got to take this medicine. I'm with that. All right. So here's what I like to do. If we can, maybe I'm gonna share your Instagram feed again.
Sure.
So if we can take a look at some of your work, and then also there's a couple of questions down in the chat that I want to get to, and if you're open to taking any live questions from anybody who wants to ask, we can do that as well. Does that sound all right?
Yeah, I believe that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me let's put up this. Let's take a look at this Instagram page, some of your work, so people have a sense for what you're up to, man.
All right.
All right.
She's not here today. Usually Sundays is her day right now.
Okay. Yeah. We were here about a year
Can you see that screen?
I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna mute you for a second because there's a lot of conversation over there.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. Liberty Street recordings. This is incredible. And I love the old school boombox, man, with the wood panel. That's amazing. And the red record button, man, that was ready. That unit was ready. This is great. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. Okay, you're taking things digital. I see you. Let's see. Can you mute? Can you unmute?
Yeah, I'm here.
There you go. Oh, it's actually, we should have had you go outside a long time ago, man. This sounds way better.
Sounds way better, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Okay, good. Well, then look, you can walk us through here. Like, I see you're going digital. You're doing some work
Yeah,
digitally
I'm
here.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the whole how can I manifest my art onto clothing and t-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Knowing Illustrator is not the most the fun thing to know. You know what I mean? Like this is a little
Sure.
technical, little
Yeah.
more heavier than I would have suspected it is. But I'm working with that in Photoshop. I'm still learning. Also, I'm trying to, like the shirt that I have on, and I'm just trying to get good at it so I can have some product out there. See, you could be a great pioneer or a legend or anything like that, but if you don't have the product for people to buy, it's just kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like leaves you absent from financial areas. So now it's just like, okay, I have this talent. Won't I give something that's not a $5,000 painting or put on a t-shirt, put the talent on a t-shirt or some clothing. And that's one of the things I'm trying to get into more lately. Is learning how to do that, logos, etc. All the stuff that you could do with a computer, because that is the base of everything right now.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. No, and the other thing I hear is that, like, even as you evolve, like the medium, like how you use, which expression you use to get your art out, sometimes necessarily changes. It's updating from one, side of a building to, 1,000 t-shirts. The expression is that part of you, but also in like this different way.
Oh yeah. Everybody has something inside of them that they can express, but some people just don't know how to pull it out of them.
For sure.
For
sure, yeah.
Like you'll see somebody and be like, "Hey man, you're pretty good at that." Yeah, I'm all right. But nah, man, you're really good at that. You should pursue doing that. But I'm an electrician, so
Exactly.
that's nothing wrong with that either. But you know what I'm saying?
No. Yeah.
But,
no, not at all.
Some people, their careers took over their talents. For some people it's good, and some people it's not. So it's a balance, I guess, in life.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is. Yeah. Well, so one of the things that we talk about typically on the show is the way in which artists are finding a way to keep their heads afloat while doing their art.
Right.
And this is part of it. Like, not all of us can live off of our art full time. Doesn't make our art any less valuable or important, but that, like, we also got bills to pay. So figuring out how to do that sometimes feels like it requires a kind of sacrifice,
Oh yeah. It's pretty much it's hard to pay the bills with art, unless you get caught into the machine and you're the next big hot thing, and then people recognize your work. People know your name. Your name is the biggest thing in art world. You got to get a name. You get a name, then you're good. But as far as the average Joe, like me, I have to DJ. I have to make some art. I have to, do all these different things to make ends meet, which is really, really hard things to do.
Yeah. It's interesting. One of the things you just said that caught my attention was, like, this idea that, like, in order to make a living off your art, it's almost like you have to submit to the machine, right? Like, there's this machinery that you said, like, if you don't get eaten up by the machine, I think that's what you said.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're going to maintain your independence, you also end up suffering for that financially.
Right. The machine itself is dangerous. You got to look at it. It's like the best group that you ever loved never had a major hit. but to you, it was phenomenal. This album's phenomenal. Nobody knows about it but me.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Like this song, why don't they play these types of songs? Or why isn't this artist as good as he is? You know, why can't he get a budget? Or, you know, it's like a basketball player in the hood. He's the best in the hood, but the majors won't touch him. Probably know all about him, but they won't touch him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't go through the machine to get to where he's supposed to be. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Like saying,
yeah.
like a student coming out of high school, the pros want him, but the colleges can't let him go. You know what I mean? You got to go through the machine.
The machine to get on. Yeah.
The machine. You know, but some people get lucky. They jump right in the machine, and it goes for them. Me, I never got caught in the machine at all. You know.
Yeah.
So more or less, you know, yeah.
So I'm gonna there's a couple of questions that are in the chat that came from some of our listeners here. So I'm gonna read a couple of these, and then if anybody wants to ask Dooley-O a question, or please don't hesitate to get in here. But one question, one of the listeners asked, in a parallel universe or in another life, would you still be creating art, or would you be doing something completely different?
I believe I'll be creating art. In another life, I wouldn't change a thing. There's a song called, it goes like this. I wouldn't change a thing if I had to live my life all over. I'll do it all again. Because I can't take back going to Europe, painting in Europe or France. I can't take back DJing in Offenburg, Germany, and London. I don't want to take back those experiences, you know, because of hip hop. That was my dream. And that's one of the main reasons why I did get into hip hop, is because I saw rappers going cross seas off of a hip hop ticket.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I could do that. So, and
that's great.
I finally got my dream to come true. I toured in the UK for 3 weeks. Then I went to Ireland twice. And my last tour, I went to Germany and went to France.
Incredible.
So
it's incredible.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just want to say, you got to understand, a kid from New Haven and from the hillside of New Haven been to Ireland twice. You know what I mean? Like that. It's
incredible.
Off of a dream. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would never change. I would never take it back. I mean, yeah, financially, I might have made a different moves financially, but I wouldn't take it back.
Yeah. No, I feel that. And interesting, because so I grew up in the Hill as well. My mom still lives over there, actually. And there's something special about that idea. You know, I think for me, you know, being proud of the things that I've been able to accomplish, I hear, like, you know, that I don't know, there's something about New Haven, man, that is just it's hard to describe, man. It's a kind of like go ahead.
Let me explain. It's like you got a cast iron lid over the city. For the inner city people who want to do things, who want to do big things. You understand what I'm saying? There's not much for them to go on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to myself get up out of here just to make a record. I had to move to California just to piece up with some people that I knew, to say, just come, you know, come to California, we got you, don't worry. I get to California, and I'm like, yo, I want to be down. Oh, you're down with us, don't worry about it, Dooley. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to DJ at this bar tomorrow while you're touring 17 cities. Now tell me, is that down? It was like, well, what do you want me to do? I said, well, put my damn record out. Oh, that's it? That's what you want me to do? Yeah, that's what I want you to do. And it made it happen. Just by me leaping to go to California and meet some friends of mine and say, listen, man, put my record out. And then that's all they had to do. And after that, I just took it from there. Yeah. But I feel what you're saying, back to what we're saying, is that you kind of feel that, yo, there's no connection here for me. I mean, there's tons of connections here in New Haven, but then you feel like as far as an entertainer or something in the entertainment or art field, like this isn't the place that you have to leave to go somewhere to get something, then you can come back. Because you know, I mean, but it's a beautiful place though. Don't get me wrong. I love New Haven. Like New Haven is like something. It's the strangest place on earth, man. It's a totally different world, man. The people are different. Everything's different. All the potential in the world, and we just don't utilize it, you know?
It's sort of like it can be the tale of two cities sometimes in New Haven.
Yeah.
For sure. But I do think that there's this way in which over time it feels like there's a deeper appreciation for arts and for artists, and yet there's still so much further, you know, to go. I think good things are happening in pockets, and people are kind of connecting and doing some pretty incredible things. And if there was like a concerted effort, like a real focused, you know, we're gonna find these like pockets of brilliance that are right here, right now, and really support that, you know. That would be an incredible, you know, sort of feather in the hat that is New Haven, man.
Yeah.
So there's another question here. Is there? Let's see. Oh yeah. So there's somebody asking for your Instagram, which we already dropped there in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So let me ask you this. This is like a question that I ask lots of folks when I'm talking to them. And it's this: what is the question that I should have asked you, but I didn't?
Yeah. Well, I think I said that as far as what inspired me was just basically hip hop coming out of New York. Let me see if something pops in my head. Let's go to the next question, but let me think about that one, because I think that you know, I mean, put like this: being inspired, artists inspired me. People who, like, just say I went over to Neville Wisdom, which is a good friend of mine. He does fashion.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, he's a big fashion designer, about to have another new store location on Broadway. Yale is backing him now. And now, you know. So, but I was over there with a friend, and my other friend who's a graffiti artist that does clothing, I introduced him to Neville. And just by us being in the same room, just having conversations about building and putting things together, that sort of sparked some real high energy in me, because I like competition that's around me, more or less, not competition that I'm seeing on TV. I like to see, just say I play the percussions like you do, and I go to your house, you start going ham, beating on things, and just start going nuts. And I'm like, I'll go home and be like, that bastard. And then I start.
And it just pushes you. Yeah,
and it just pushes you, you know what I mean? And that's the type of people I like to be around. I like people who like to dig in the crates for records. I like people who like to do graffiti. I like people who like to make music and do beats and rap and stuff like that. I like people who's into old vintage junk. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
You know, the flea market is like the damn Macy's to me sometimes. You know what I mean? If it's the right flea market, you know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Why I got so much junk in this basement? Yeah, you know why? Because you like to buy junk.
Because I'm collecting my stuff.
It's a collection. It's not junk. It's a collection, there.
It's a collection. That's right. I know that's right. Well, so man, but I appreciate that, and like also I'm just gonna put it out here live on the air. If you ever want to sample some live congas,
of course I do.
Holler at your boy.
I will. I got a little setup. I got a setup downstairs. We can make that happen, man. Word. I was actually looking for I was actually looking for somebody when I was DJing to do some live, but now I got your number. So if that door ever opens up again, I'm gonna be calling. Look, we got this thing going on. We need some live percussionists, and all the new cats will be like, "What is going on in here?" But they end up staying the whole night because they just enjoyed themselves.
Word. Well, I'm in. Talk to me. This has been fantastic, Dooley-O. Thank you so much for taking the time, for being with us. I'm really glad we got you outside because there's so much clearer out there. You were better off with the fire sirens.
Yeah. I kind of figured out. And the store all of a sudden got packed. Like 20 people walked in. I was like, oh my God, I can't even be in the store right now.
Well, good brother. I'll leave you with the last words. If you want to shout out what's your website? Where can folks find you? You're on Bandcamp. Where can they hear your work, see your work, buy your work?
All right, right now you can buy the work at www.dooley-o.bandcamp.com. And if you look on the Dooley-O, which is the Instagram, is DOOLEYO on Instagram, the links are in there as well for you to go to Bandcamp, stuff like that. I didn't put up a designated. I have a Dooley-O.com, Dooley-O.com, but I'm still working on the website. So.
Okay. All right. So for right now, they can hear your music and they can purchase at www.dooley-o.bandcamp.com.
Exactly.
Perfect. All right. So that's
you'll
right.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. There it is. It's in there. It's in there twice. So folks know where to find you. Dooley-O, it's been such a great pleasure to talk to you, good brother. I'm hoping I'm confident our paths will cross again.
I know what I can feel the vibe. I know that energy. When I know good people, I know their vibe, and yours is definitely nice and classy. And I probably could learn a thing or two from you. So I got your number. You have mine, and everybody else you need me, just hit me on the DM, and we'll take from there. And thanks for tuning into the #1 show right here. You know what I mean?
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you so much, man. For real.
Yes.
Enjoy the rest of your day, man. And we'll see you soon.
And don't forget, where am I today?
Oh, I might come down there and see you a little bit later on.
Yeah. I'll be here at 6 o'clock. Right here,
okay.
24 Fountain Street. Elm City Records right here. Got some gems in here. All right.
Okay, good. I'll be looking for some recommendations. I'm trying to get some Boogaloo.
Oh, I got the Boogaloo Prince in here. He's the DJ with me. He know all about the Boogaloos. I got some for you. Okay. All right. I'm definitely coming to see you then. All right, then. All right, brother. Peace, everybody. Thank you. Peace.